Hey folks, this is Vint with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Homeworld 3. This is a game that you can find on Steam and other places for about 60 bucks or so. I just got my press key the other day, a couple of days past launch, so this is going to be more of a first impressions video. I have about 3 or 4 hours on record at this point in time. So, I haven't had a chance ever to play Homeworld 1 and 2. I'm coming into this series completely blind. I have no basis for comparison. I don't know how good the other games are, although I've heard that the other games are good, but I don't know, how the other games might compare to this one, so I'm a complete newbie. I just should note that. And as such, I don't know what's going on with the story either. I had to look it up on Wiki. Even the game itself doesn't really explain what's going on. According to Wiki, Homeworld 3 is set 100 years after the events of Homeworld 2. It introduces a brand new protagonist, scientist Imogen Esjet, the protege of Karen Esjet, who must become Fleet Command to solve the mystery behind Karen's disappearance and determine the meaning of the anomaly, a threat that endangers the galaxy's future. So there's that. I don't know what that means. And to be honest with you, I skipped a lot of the story in this just because it didn't really catch me. It didn't really appeal to me. In fact, the game was going out of its way to annoy me with the story. There was a cutscene every time I moved the ship. Cutscene. Anyway, so I'll get back to that. There is a campaign. I believe there's 12 or 13 missions. There's also a skirmish mode that you can play, but I was kind of disappointed. You can add bots, but there's only easy, medium, hard. There's no further customization beyond that. And there's only, I want to say, 6 or 7 maps. And I mean, I appreciate there's a skirmish mode in this, and to be fair, maybe it's the primary focus of this game is the campaign, because from what I know of Homeworld 1 and 2, it's an epic journey where your mothership that you're trying to protect, it's a persistent fleet survival kind of thing. Reminds me a little bit of Battlestar Galactica, and that it's kind of off on its own. It's trying to keep all of its ships alive, that kind of thing. So maybe skirmish isn't as important in a game like this. That being said, what is here is kind of lackluster. Visually, this game is fantastic. When I first booted up the tutorials and the first mission and just sort of panned the camera around, I enjoyed graphically. I enjoyed looking at everything. It was beautiful. It was desktop screensaver worthy kind of thing. That being said, the camera controls, I don't know what it is, but I just couldn't grasp them. A and D were panning the camera left and right, whereas W and S were zooming in and out. I wanted to pan the camera north and south with W and S. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. I wanted to create my own top-down view and use W and S to go back and forth rather than zoom in and out, if that makes any sense. And I couldn't figure out a way to do that in the options menu. In fact, the arrow keys say to move the camera up, down, left, right, or whatever. It's hard-coded. I can't change it. So the only way I could fix that was to ignore WASD altogether, lock the mouse to the window, and enable edge scrolling, which I hate. That's the only way I could really move the camera around up, down, left, and right without relying on keys. It was annoying. The camera controls were just, I couldn't get used to them. I do appreciate that you can rotate, you can sort of zoom around in this three-dimensional environment, but there was no Supreme Commander zoom out, look at everything at a glance top down, and issue orders and then keep going. There is a space bar that you can hit, and it's like this X-ray vision mode, but it didn't really help me to organize everything. Speaking of cutscenes, these were annoying. Every time I did something in this game, every time something would interrupt what I was doing. I was commanding, I was trying to get these harvesters or whatever they're called to scavenge these resources. And when I would select one and find the resources, a cutscene would pop up, and then it would off-click what I was doing, so I had to redo everything. It was just annoying that I was constantly interrupted. It interrupted my flow. It was just really annoying. Um, I did appreciate that over time you unlocked new ships. Like I unlocked, frigates and corvettes, and then eventually assault frigates or whatever they're called. And there was like smaller ships that you could dock with your mothership, larger ships which you could build to sort of surround it, repair vessels. All of that was really cool, and there is an option in the campaign to either keep it persistent, meaning what you have with you is what you take into the next level, or you can have it so that there's a default, meaning like no matter what you bring with you in the leaving a mission, you always get these ships going into the next one. So there is a way to turn that on and off, which is nice. And I do appreciate that there's like I want to say 5 different difficulties for this campaign. There is a story mode, which is what I was playing on just to sort of get acclimated to everything. And I'm glad I did because even with story mode, I was too busy fighting the camera and trying to find my ships and figure out where everything was to really be an effective real-time strategy commander. And maybe it's going to take some time to get used to that. So, like, all in all, like, I didn't feel like this was a terribly bad game, but there were a lot of things about it that rubbed me the wrong way. Again, these cutscenes that would constantly interrupt me. The fact that skirmish mode was, it's very lackluster. And another thing, there are times when when you get to your last objective for that map, and sometimes it's thrust upon you whether you want to or not, you leave the system automatically and there's still resources to be harvested. I fought off a wave of corvettes or whatever it was, and there's pieces of them laying around and I'm like, oh, I can harvest this for resources. Oh, but wait, a cutscene and I'm leaving the system. As someone like from what I know of every sci-fi show, you stick around to harvest crap. Okay, like Ixion, for example, a game that I recently played, a sci-fi game. I was able to stay in the system and harvest thousands of ore before moving on to the next system. This game forces you to leave stuff behind, whether you want to or not, and it's that pissed me off because I'm someone that likes to get every resource possible before moving on to the next mission. If there's a persistent progression, then I want to have everything before I move on. Ixion, I spent hours, gathering materials, for the next galaxy. I loved that. This game doesn't let me do that, and that was annoying. So, I don't recommend this at the $60 price tag. I feel like this is more of like a $10, $20 game to me, because there are other RTS games I would rather play than this. So what the game has going for it is its graphics and the sound, and that's it for me anyway. Like, I enjoyed it, but a lot of things kept pissing me off about it, and that's unfortunate because as my first real introduction to the series, this kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and I doubt I would come back to it unless I was bored with the other games I have in my collection, which there's thousands of games, so good luck with that. So there you go, folks. That was my first impressions of Homeworld 3. Grab it on a sale. Deep sale. This is Vince. Thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all next time. Take care.